We're going to turn now to the formation of the Trump administration and news on one of the most high-profile jobs in Washington. Officials with the Trump transition team telling ABC News the president-elect is likely to name this gentleman, Rex Tillerson, the head of ExxonMobil, as his Secretary of State. This choice would not be without controversy, however. And ABC's Mary Bruce is on the story from the White House. Mary, good morning to you.
Good morning. Well, the Trump team tells us no offer has been made just yet, but this morning the president-elect is praising his likely pick. Tillerson is a successful oil executive. He's made deals around the world and built relationships with foreign leaders, but it's those relationships that are also causing some concern.
He's much more than a business executive. I mean, he's a world-class player.
And this morning, Rex Tillerson could also be the first Secretary of State in American history with zero government experience. The ExxonMobil CEO is now Trump's likely pick to be the nation's top diplomat. And already his business ties with Russia are raising concerns. That's Tillerson in this 2013 Russian government video, shaking hands with President Putin as he receives the Order of Friendship Award. But Trump says those connections are a good thing.
To me, a great advantage is he knows many of the players, and he knows them well. He does massive deals in Russia. He does massive deals for the company, not for himself, for the company.
The DNC is blasting the pick as outrageous and a victory for Vladimir Putin. Republicans are also chiming in.
I have obviously concerns of reports of his relationship with Vladimir Putin, who is a thug and a murderer.
Tillerson's likely deputy secretary is also raising eyebrows. John Bolton, a former State Department official and UN ambassador, would bring government experience to the leadership team. But he's also a Washington insider. Known for being extremely hawkish, he still defends the Iraq War. The picks come as Trump's team is fighting back against a Washington Post report that Russia interfered in the U.S. presidential election to help Trump win.
What proof does anyone have that they affected the outcome? Because I've heard zero.
This morning, Russia's motives remain unclear, but a top intelligence official tells ABC News there is evidence that both parties were targeted, but that only material hacked from the Democrats was made public. The RNC says that's not true.
We have not been hacked. Our own systems show that we have not been hacked.
And now the Trump transition team is also questioning the credibility of the CIA. This morning, that distrust is sending shockwaves through the intelligence community. The concern is that once Trump is here at the White House, he may not trust the intelligence he's given to make critical decisions. Dan and Paula?
Shockwaves for sure. Mary, thank you. And ABC News chief anchor George Stephanopoulos is with us now. George is going to be hosting This Week later this morning. Hi there, George. Let's start with Rex Tillerson. There's so many concerns about his ties with Russia. Of course, he needs Senate approval. Do you expect those ties to really give him a hard time? You heard what John McCain was saying. Even Republicans are concerned.
Well, he's going to face a lot of questions as a confirmation hearing. There's no question about that. Whether or not he'll be voted down depends on what they discover during those hearings. But you're right. He's going to face questions from John McCain, from Lindsey Graham, about his ties to Vladimir Putin. He got that Order of Friendship from Vladimir Putin back in 2012, which is one of the highest civilian honors that Russia can give out. He's also called for lifting sanctions on Russia. We'll face questions about that. Also will face questions from Democrats like Senator Ed Markey, who say this is turning over the keys of diplomacy to the big oil. And so there'll be big questions about that as well from both sides. How he handles those questions will determine if he gets picked, whether he gets confirmed.
Let's talk about this, what appears to be a rift between the incoming president.
Appears to be.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to put it carefully. Between the incoming president and the intelligence community. As we know, there's reports that the intelligence community believes Russia intervened to try to tilt the election toward Trump. Trump responded by saying these are the same people that said Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. So what does that say about Trump's ability to work with the intelligence people upon whom he will rely?
That's going to be a big question. Let's dial the clock back just a little bit. Remember back in October, 17 intelligence agencies concluded that Russia was trying to interfere in the election. They didn't give the motive there. They just said maybe they're trying to cast mischief. Donald Trump hasn't accepted that conclusion either. Now he's questioning the conclusion of the CIA that they were trying to actually help Trump win. It was kind of a stunning rebuke. A lot of intelligence officials thought for him to be questioning the intelligence in this way at this time, at the same time that he's actually, according to some reports, not really relying on those presidential daily briefs that both presidents and presidents-elect get every single day. Said he's only being briefed about once a week. We're going to talk to Reince Priebus, his incoming chief of staff, about that and about what the relationship with the intelligence community is likely to be inside a Trump administration.
Now, of course, these intelligence reports have only been corroborated by the Times and the Washington Post. We're basing much of our reporting on them. Do you think there's any chance that the intelligence is being politicized here?
Well, I don't think we know the answer to that. I think that this is the conclusions of the professionals, the intelligence professionals. I mean, it's kind of the reverse of the situation that Donald Trump was talking about in his statement, where during the Iraq War, the allegation was that the White House was coming in, was cherry-picking the intelligence that they were getting from the professionals. But this is the conclusion right now of the intelligence professionals. President Obama has ordered an entire review of the intelligence. He wants a report on his desk before January 20th that has a comprehensive look at how and whether Russia intervened in our elections.
More on this story to come for sure. George, thank you. And I want to remind everybody that George has a big show this morning. He's going to ask Donald Trump's incoming chief of staff, Reince Priebus, if the RNC was hacked by the Russians. Also, Senators Rand Paul and Claire McCaskill will weigh in on how the Senate will work with the new Trump administration. That's all coming up later this morning on This Week, right here on ABC.